Most men will never recover from their corn-induced ED. They just waste years stuck in the same place over and over again, hoping that the cycle will magically fix itself. Now, I know this because I've lived it, right? I was addicted for over 14 years and it controlled my life, but I broke free and now I help other men do the exact same thing. Now, the number one lie that you'll tell yourself is that things are not that bad. And you have to remember, right? Anytime you're in a situation that's kind of difficult, that you're changing, and it's going to take effort, right? It's going to take consistency. It's going to take a lot of uncomfortable situations to have for you to get in that position that you want to get to. A lot of times in life, what people end up doing is that they just focus on the wrong thing. Instead of attacking any problem head on, what is the path of least resistance that most people honestly will do, right? You'll try to ignore certain things or try to say it's not that big of a problem. Meanwhile, it's probably destroying your relationship life, all that type of stuff, which it all really just continues to get worse and worse and snowball as time continues, right? Time keeps passing, things like your relationships, whether it's finding, a wife, a girlfriend, any of that, man, it makes it more difficult and more difficult because you have this strain in the back of your mind that, you're wondering if you can really perform like that. And all these things, it just adds more complexity to your life. Instead, when you just could attack the root cause of everything going on and actually fix your problem. So it makes it very difficult. Number two is depending on willpower. And this is the most common thing I actually see because willpower is by default what men want to use to cure things, right? Because of course, we're men, right? You got testosterone, all this type of stuff, right? So you want to say that you don't need help with anything, that you can pretty much just grind everything out on your own. But you got to look at willpower as what it is. It's a finite resource that everyone has. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people have more than others. But at the end of the day, it's going to run out at some point, right? So if you're relying on something that is not always consistent, that can run out at a certain point in time, what do you think type of results you're going to achieve in your life in this case, trying to break this addiction, right? It makes sense why people, especially that do nofap and all this other type of stuff, can only go a certain amount of time, right? Before what happens? They end up relapsing or making a video. They ended up relapsing, all these type of things, because they're relying on things that are temporary and outside of their control. Can you control your willpower? Not necessarily, because at some point it's going to drain out. You're going to have no more time left. And what's going to happen? You're going to be back to square one like you started, right? A lot of people, they'll count days, they'll go 30, 60, 90, whatever. But almost always, man, you see half of these dudes just return back and feel like they lost all progress, right? So keep that in mind, right? The motivation fades, right? Even discipline to some extent can be very difficult to have long term, but why not make it easier on yourself, right? Why not do things like make a lifestyle or craft your environment that actually make it easier to win so that you don't have to only rely on willpower? Willpower will not get you there, right? And soon enough, you'll probably have a relapse and be in the exact same position that you're trying to get out of. And years down the line, you'll still be wondering, man, why can I, have a family, get married, having all these problems within relationships? And it's because you didn't check on yourself and put yourself in check to try to make sure that you were on point with your habits, your lifestyle, and all of those different areas. And that's why I really ended up building a course that teaches people how to do exactly what I've done over these years. Cure the corn-induced ED, right? Break the addiction. You can go definitely 30 plus days, 60 plus days. So click the link down below and you'll have complete access to that solution that allowed me to make that insane transformation in over 400 plus days on nofap. Now, the next point that what really happens is a lot of people tend to isolate themselves. This is a super dangerous one, right? Because isolation is one of those things that your brain actually changes when you isolate yourself. And I like to look at it in terms of people need support, right? You need other people that are around you that can help you in your journey, right? So You have people that you should be speaking to about this situation, what you're going through, because that only helps you just overall your mental health to stay afloat and not just go crazy, right? As humans, we're built to be around other people. Now, of course, you're going to have your time where you're doing your own thing, you're solo, but yes, you need other people around you at some point. And oftentimes, when people isolate themselves, number one, we're talking about brain rewiring, right? Because at the end of the day, you've wired your brain in a certain way that the only way you're going to be able to change that is number one, right? Stop the corn. And then number two, you have to go back outside in the real world. And if you're isolating, you're doing the exact opposite of what you're doing, right? So it's almost twofold, right? Because you need to be around more attractive women, people that you find attractive, just friends in general, people that you're talking to, socializing. And if you've noticed, the more people, more social events that you get around, right, you're getting out a little bit more, the less of a problem a lot of times that seems to be, right? That's a huge observation. So you want to be more social, put yourself more out there so you can just make it easy, make your entire situation a lot easier. Now, the next point, life doesn't change around you, right? People think and have this thought in their mind that, okay, things are just going to change at some point, right? And a lot of people have this, right? Especially that are stuck in this cycle because it's so easy to do. It's like, if you really think about it, you've probably failed the same way over and over, maybe 100 plus, 1,000 plus times, right? But then there's something in your brain that tells you, and it almost tricks you to say, oh, things are going to be different this time. It's a very weird phenomenon, right? Because although you have so much evidence that the path that you're taking is probably not working, for some reason, you have this delusional belief that you're going to just one day wake up and things are going to change. And for the majority of you, probably all of you, if you don't do anything different, that is not going to happen, right? You're going to stay in the same place. You're going to still have performance issues, right? You're not going to be in successful, healthy relationships. And it's overall, man, you're going to have a tough time, man. You're going to have a tough time in life, and you're going to be asking yourself, why couldn't I change? Why wasn't I able to really make things happen, right? And that's the tough part, right? If nothing changes in your environment, your lifestyle, right? I always love to say diet, nutrition, but overall lifestyle as well, the habits, your social life. Man, if none of that changes, your habits in this area that you have compromise and vices in is not going to change whatsoever, right? You're going to slide back into the same behaviors, and you're going to go from, maybe you go a couple days, 1-2 days, and then you end up in the exact same spot, right? It's going to happen. So before it happens, man, look and evaluate your lifestyle. Try to see the changes that you can make. Do not isolate yourself. Don't depend on willpower. And do not deny your situation because that will keep you stuck in the exact same place. Now, click the link down below to get my course where I detail exactly what you need to know to break this addiction, cure the corn-induced ED, and get you back in those healthy relationships so you can be the man that you've always wanted to be and reach your full potential. All right.